Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to the vidIQ Wednesday live stream. I'm Dan, and we are back once again to discuss whatever it is we discuss on Wednesday. Sometimes it's YouTube tips and advice helping you grow your channels. Actually, that's primarily the goal of all of these, everything we do. But we always like to give it a bit of a twist. Sometimes we're taking you through a different tool that we offer. Sometimes we bring on a special guest. And as we do just about every month, we bring in Emily Baker to talk about the more legal aspects of YouTube. So today we're going to focus specifically on copyright. I'm sure we'll get to a lot of other questions as well. Let's bring in Mr. Rob. How's it going?
Hey, everybody. I do apologize. I may be distracted for the first few minutes because I finally got Jasper in the studio for a little bit. Look, Jasper, yeah, look, you're on camera. Do something. Wave. Do a somersault. Get me some link. Get me some views. We were trying to make you an internet star 2 years ago. And you're just staring at me. I can't be mad at Jasper. Hey, Jasper.
You can't be mad at Jasper.
I want him to jump up and be really loving and caring. Now he's just going to sit down. Now he's going to scratch himself. Anyway, sorry, this is really boring live streaming stuff, unless people really like dogs on the internet, which they usually do, actually.
Usually dogs do pretty okay on the internet. I think
not
maybe
too bad, not too bad.
A close second to cats, though.
Look, he's sniffing my t-shirts now. He may steal one of these. It happens very often.
This is just riveting. This is all I want to do now for the rest of the
next
2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, we don't need Emily. She can sit in the green room for a bit.
We had to. I have some introduction music for Emily now. I thought.
Oh wow!
I thought it was about time we did something because we do these streams so often. So let's bring in Emily the right way.
Big Mac wrap. I need a double cheeseburger, hold the lettuce, dump it front and center, seeds for the bun. I'm up in this drive-through, order for 2. I got a craving for a number 9 like my shoe. I need some chicken up in here in this hizzle for shizzle. My nizzle, extra salt on the frizzle. 2006, one of my favorite and first YouTube video loves. Thank you. Have a good one.
So what we need to do is one of our community members is clip that and then put a beat to it. And then we're talking.
It goes Big Mac, boom, 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 boom. Look, they asked me what my first YouTube love was, and the Big Mac rap was my first YouTube love. I was a younger DA. We had an office of 4 people, and we loved this song. So we'd be down the hallway, and somebody would throw down that beat, and we'd throw down the beat. If we were going to give commentary about it, we could stream a little bit of the Big Mac rap if you want to pull it up. It is one of the OG videos here on the platform, and it's these guys going through a drive-through ordering via rap, and it's hilarious. And I still remember every single word. I didn't realize that what happened at VidSummit would not stay at VidSummit.
Oh,
I should have been aware.
I apologize. Maybe I should have talked to somebody before spring.
No, I fucking love it. It's great.
Okay.
I'm just teasing. When you say things to a camera, assume that it lives forever. Case in point.
That's
point.
True.
There were no cameras at the speaker party, so you know.
And the same on Twitter as well. Let's talk about copyright, baby. Let's talk about
you and me. Let's talk about
all the good things, all the bad things, but maybe. Let's talk about copyright.
And then you see that lovely GIF from my man Todd Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. So absolutely.
And I just said here, so this was a transformational tweet, yeah? The source material and lyrics produced by Salt and Pepper. No copyright was infringed. We're right on that, yeah, Emily?
It's parody. Right. It's parody.
There we go.
So we've sufficiently wasted everybody's time.
I mean, I did give a whole talk at VidSummit about how not to start a live stream. I think I'm going to clip this and make it my example for the next time I speak about starting live stream. No,
but use it. I heard about your VidSummit presentation. I wanted you to have material for next year. And so I
appreciate that. I love it. It was a lot of fun. I missed seeing both of you, but enjoyed seeing other Rob and Chug and all of the team and all of the creators and getting some fantastic merch, you know, all the things. All the things. StreamYard was giving out stuffed animals though, so I feel like next year you've got to figure out what the vidIQ stuffy is and maybe get a blue play button stuffed animal or something. Win the hearts and minds.
I like this idea. We need to think of a mascot and we need to make a plushie out of it. Mm-hmm. So we are talking about YouTube topics today, I promise.
We are.
We wanted to have a conversation around copyright and all the ins and outs, all the things that could potentially impact a lot of people. And yeah, so I have a list of just places to get us started here. And we're going to talk for about 20-30 minutes, and then we're going to start taking on your questions. So as you're listening today, please be writing down any questions you think of related to copyright, especially. Towards later in the stream, we might get to more YouTube general questions. We tend to do that, but we're going to try and keep it focused specifically on copyrights as much as possible today. So be writing down your questions, and we will get to them soon.
Can I start with a question for you both and a
yes.
short story about YouTube copyright?
Yes, let's do it.
I'm going to lead us in with an example because we have a really good real world example playing out right now. But
Yes.
Dan and Rob, for both of you, what do you think the worst thing is that can happen for copyright infringement?
You get
I'd say for me, it's for stealing somebody else's content on YouTube. So not necessarily copyright infringement of popular music or videos, but it's going after creators content. That would be my personal answer to that.
The worst thing that can happen is creators going after other creators' content. What's the worst punishment that can happen for that?
Oh, channel
YouTube.
Well, no, it'd be jail.
Lose your channel.
I would, yeah. I was gonna say, wouldn't that be jail? Outside of that, I was gonna say, for me, the worst is just getting wrapped up for the creator themselves. Worst is getting wrapped up in that battle, whether it's you on the receiving end, like people are stealing your work, or you've taken something that doesn't belong to you. Either way, I would say that's gonna hinder your creative process.
Ending up on drama alert.
I mean, so for those of you in the chat who might not follow my content, I'm Emily G. Baker. I've talked about this case briefly. There is a YouTuber going through a large copyright issue right now. Channel has about 800,000 subscribers, had more when this started. Channel is Ami in a Hellcat, and has been federally indicted for copyright infringement for a $30 million copyright infringement scheme, and is facing 500 plus years in prison, 519 years in prison to be exact, in over 70 counts, including violations of the DMCA, 19 counts of money laundering, 6 counts of wire fraud, and counts of other copyright infringement. So when you talk about the worst thing that can happen, we're looking now at a federal indictment of a YouTuber who is facing up to 500 years in prison. But fascinatingly enough, he is documenting this on his YouTube channel, which is part of what got him in trouble in the first place. So if you're curious, you can go back on Ami's channel and look at the IRS and the FBI came and charged me. I've been raided by the FBI. The FBI forfeited, and can I screen share? I think I can screen share. Let me try. We're going to take over things here. She's bossy when she comes in hot on Wednesdays. So I have a screen here. I don't know if I can add it or if you guys can have it. This is the indictment, but I'm going to show you the asset forfeiture. Most of these things that were forfeited by YouTuber Ami and a Hellcat. When we get to the forfeiture provisions, this is a very, very long indictment. It's over 71 pages. They forfeited over 52 houses and over 100 vehicles. So when you look at the vehicles that were forfeited, that means the government comes and takes your shit. That's what forfeits mean. The government comes and takes your stuff. This, by the way, is all the wire fraud they're alleging. Hundreds of thousands of dollars moving around. The government already knows everything by the time they come and charge you, by the way. They don't need your information. They've already got it. They've got your entire life listed out here in neat little charts that were photocopied terribly. This is the list of bank accounts. This is the list of currency they found, including hundreds of thousands of dollars in cars, $80,000 hidden in a Mercedes, $60,000 in a house. And then this gets into the vehicles. So when you look at the vehicles, we're starting here with C. I'm just going to scroll so you can see the vehicles, the Jeep, the Dodge, the Lamborghini, the Suzuki, the Chevy, the Dodge. But these are all the vehicles that were taken. We're going to.
This isn't fair. There's a chip shortage right now. People are trying to get a hold of cars, and this person's
he
has all the cars.
Has all of them. These are all sitting in the sitting in a lockup somewhere because they've been forfeited. And then we get to the homes. These are the homes that have been forfeited. We're starting here at the 1.
But for anyone just joining, by the way, this is all due to copyright on YouTube.
Yes.
This is what got them into trouble.
Well, mostly on YouTube. They were advertising their service on YouTube. So I'm going to take this back down so we don't need to go through the whole indictment. If you want to see me go through it, it's on my channel. What he was doing was ripping copyrighted material from the cable companies using decoders from China and advertising a bootleg cable service on his various YouTube channels, including this channel. So this channel and others. And even in his channel introduction, if you go to his channel trailer, you will see him advertising in the channel trailer the cars. If you want to make that big and play it, you'll see all the cars. He owns this entire cul-de-sac. You'll start seeing some of the cars. And then you'll see at the end of his channel trailer, he advertises one of these services that he was driving people to. They say he made over $30 million doing it, where he would strip cable signals and put them up on a third-party service and say, hey, pay my third-party service and you have access to Game of Thrones, no HBO needed, etc. Game of Thrones, one of the shows that they've alleged here in this indictment. So he, of course, denies it, says he thought it was all on the up and up. I mean, if you're buying decoders from China to access something that you don't have access to because it's encoded to protect the copyright, then maybe that should be a signal. His biggest complaint in one of his videos is, hey, nobody ever sent me a cease and desist, man. Nobody told me to stop. No, they just came and took all of your shit and are trying to throw you in prison. They don't have to go the civil route. Yeah. And the cable companies, it looks like the internal security for the cable companies went directly to the feds to ask for help, because every single major cable company in the US is alleged in this indictment. Instead of each of them individually trying to stop him, they went together to the feds and said, this is a massive problem. And in the press release by the federal government, by the prosecutor, it said, this case shows you how seriously we take protecting copyright. The special agent in charge, Bradley, said, you can't just go and monetize someone else's copyrighted content with impunity. That's the whole point of securing a copyright. Theft is theft. If you're going to willingly steal another party's intellectual property, the FBI stands ready to step in and shut you down. So don't think you have to get a warning first. His warning was when the FBI showed up, raided his home, took all the cash they could find, all the cars they could find, and forfeited all of his houses. That was his warning.
Wow.
Yep. So was this just a case of a bunch of FBI guys sitting down with a bucket of popcorn and watching through all of the YouTube videos and saying, yep, we've got him on this, we've got him on this, we've got him on this?
I think the cable companies started it, and then they absolutely used what was on YouTube to build their case, because they mention it in the indictment. They, just like in the Jen Shaw Real Housewife indictment, in those search warrants, they reference direct things she said on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City in the search warrant affidavits. So they're using the content put out. We know that Teresa Giudice, and I use Housewives examples because I love the pop culture, but Teresa Giudice, part of her investigation started with the IRS because of the way she was flexing cash on Real Housewives of New Jersey. And some agent went, hey, it's so weird. That's exactly the way that people who are money laundering use cash. So I'm really curious how this all lines up on the back end. So if the things you put out onto the internet, like the Big Mac rap, can come back to haunt you. That is the whole point of copyright. So when you're like, oh, well, it's copyright, we don't need to know, it's not that sexy or exciting, until the FBI storms your house and takes all your shit.
What do you think the likelihood here is of Omi starting a prison blog once he has?
I think that would be amazing.
Think about it.
I think Ami will probably settle, because he also has issues with the IRS, which he's disclosed on his channel. He said he didn't know he was doing anything wrong. He said he had consulted with people before he started this business venture, that it's a legitimate business venture. We'll see how that shakes out. I think he will probably, if I'm Ami, I'm trying to work out a deal with the feds, because he's never going to get 500 years in prison. Look, people, serial killers don't get that much time, but that's how much time he's facing, which means the feds have a really large stick to hold over his head and go, we can drop it at any time. We'll just drop it. Do you want us to do that? No? Okay, work with us. I think he can settle this case for less, but they've taken everything, like everything, all of the cash, all of the property, including like some of those things were like little four-wheeler, like kids' toys. They took all those too. Like the FBI's cold. They don't care. They will take your kids' shit, apparently. And they did in this case. But copyright does matter, and understanding copyright does matter. It can go beyond just getting your channel stricken on YouTube, which for a lot of people, getting their channel stricken is their entire livelihood. So understanding this is important, and keeping your eye on it, because it is a moving target. Copyright laws don't change per se, but the way the courts interpret them shift and grow and change. And you have things like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act that is out there with criminal punishments for this stuff, which always surprises people sometimes in other countries. They're like, wait a second, you can go to prison? Yep, you can.
Yep.
So
I want to...
The tech piano player kid, Albie Tastic, Egg Keg Films, Sir Selby, Dia Dana, Technomia, you're all on notice. We're coming after you. Maybe.
So I want to bring this back a little bit, because that was obviously a very interesting, albeit extreme example of
just a bit
copyright issues.
We enjoy an extreme example.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why, and thank you for reminding me I didn't sufficiently plug your channel, and that was like a perfect snapshot of the kind of content you can see on Emily's channel, which is linked down below. So if you have not already somehow, some way, not subscribed to Emily, please do.
Speaking of, very quickly, Dan, things linked below. I've linked a ton of old vidIQ videos about copyright, and also some of the YouTube resources about copyright as well. So after we've discussed this, if you do want to check out those extra resources, do make sure to do that. I may reference them at some points when we're going through the topic.
Yes. So tons of resources, and this will probably live on as a resource as well. Maybe we'll cut out the intro first. However, what we want to do real quick is let's go back to basics real fast and discuss the differences between copyright claims and strikes. I want to start there. This is Emily's channel, by the way. Thank you, Rob. All kinds of shenanigans to dive into.
Yeah, there's a lot. We definitely cover copyright. I have a breakdown on the Matt Haas. If you see it, it's called Fair Use. I've got a breakdown on the Matt Haas H3H3 lawsuit. I talk about, pop culture legal stuff. Cullen versus Cuthbert is still probably the case that's closest to my heart. Over in the UK, there is a massive trademark battle going on over Caterpillar cakes. It is one of my favorite legal dramas that I've covered, mostly because the social media teams for both M&S and for Aldi are sassy as hell on the internet over the Cullen and Cuthbert, the Caterpillar copyright trademark issue. So,
oh my goodness. So real quick, very basics here. I don't know if Rob or Emily, one of you wants to start. The difference between a claim and a strike.
Rob.
I guess I was going to talk about maybe the penalties, but yeah, sure. So
we can go into that after.
A copyright claim is where the YouTube copyright matching tool or similar has automatically detected presence of copyrighted material on your video. What it will do, again, automatically, is notify you, the creator, and perhaps the content owner. That's a bit I'm not entirely sure about. But ultimately, the copyright owner then has a choice to monetize that content. And also the copyright owner could then maybe contact you or take it even further and request a takedown. So a copyright takedown, I believe, is where there's been some sort of manual intervention in that either a person or a company representing that copyrighted material has formally asked for that content to be taken down, and that will place a copyright strike on the offending channel, whereas a copyright claim has no impact on you as a channel in terms of strikes, guideline strikes. It's just the monetization aspect that's penalized. I think I've got that right in a nutshell. I think.
So what about the ramifications? You get a copyright claim, you get a copyright strike.
You can have as many copyright claims on your channel as you want, YouTube specifically says when it happens, you're not penalized in any way. But if you get 3 copyright strikes, I think within a 90-day period, then your channel would be terminated, taken down. You can, of course, appeal these decisions, but that's as far as it goes from a YouTube perspective. Beyond it, going into court, it's Emily's turn. Boom.
I was just going to say your channel, YouTube yeets your channel if you get 3 copyright strikes in a period of time. But if you understand copyright, you should be able to avoid that. You can appeal it. It was so interesting. I got to talk to Todd Beaupre, the head of the discovery tools marketing algorithm team over at YouTube. And one of the things we were talking about was abuses of the reporting systems on YouTube. And we kind of had a chat about what I'd seen go on for creators with that and what my thoughts about that were. So you can appeal it. It does violate TOS to use the reporting system as a weapon. And it's something that was interesting because when he heard kind of the content I did and who I was like, oh, can I ask you about this? It is very much on the minds at YouTube, is figuring out how they're going to deal with both like harassment on the platform and dealing with using the strikes as weapons against other creators, which obviously you should never do because you're not a dickhead. So when we talk about copyright and what copyright is, I think a basic understanding is helpful. Copyright is the protection of things that are in a fixed form, not ideas, not structures like a patent, not necessarily things like a catchphrase, like a trademark, or the look of something like this logo here can be both copyrighted and trademarked. I don't know if you can see it amongst my pumpkin cream cold foam. But it's things like literary works, musical works, dramatic works, plays, and the like. Choreography can be copyrighted. And this is something that's getting very interesting over on TikTok, is if people start copywriting choreography, then can other people recreate it on a platform like TikTok? Music's audiovisual works, pictorial graphic works, and sound recordings. Not things that are not in a fixed form. So once it's put down on paper, put down in video, then it can be copyrighted. You have a inherent copyright in a thing, but to take it through the process in court, you need to register the copyright on the thing. So, movies have registered copyright, books have copyrights, music has a variety of forms of copyrights, and you can copyright videos too. If you have a video go viral, you can register it for copyright. Same with sound clips or sound bites. I think the guy who did, I love old YouTube, but the guy who did Honey Badger Don't Give a Shit, Honey Badger Don't Care, and like narrated that whole scene from like Animal Planet or whatever, should have copyrighted the whole audio for that because it was getting clipped and shared, and it's harder to enforce it if you haven't gone ahead and registered the copyright. You can do that at copyright.gov. Like you can do that yourself. It's not hard. And then when you get into copyright, you have defenses to use of copyright. Generally, if it's copyrighted, you can't use it. But there are ways you can use it because our country likes to balance free speech and artistic expression and the right to protect artistic works and intellectual property. And that's where you get into conversations about fair use, which is a defense to copyright. Yes, I used it. Yes, it's yours, but I'm allowed to use it for things like parody, critical commentary, transformative use and things like that. But those are defenses to copyright. It doesn't mean you won't get sued for copyright infringement. And just because YouTube doesn't flag it in their copyright system doesn't mean someone else won't flag it legally down the road.
Can I just ask a follow-up question about the foundations of copyright, Emily? Because I was under the impression that once you'd, I guess, created something, anything that you've created originally, it's intrinsically copyrighted. But you kind of said that you sometimes need to officially declare it as
register
your own
Yep.
copyright or register it. Yeah. Now I assume when people upload something to YouTube, it kind of has gone through that process, or is it too much of a naive understanding of it?
No, there's a formal registration process, and you get a registration number and certificate once you've registered your copyright in something. But you do have a kind of common law, basic inherent copyright. The way that you can pursue legal action if somebody infringes on your copyright is different depending on whether it's registered or not, which is why when people have videos that go viral, since copyright's fairly inexpensive and easy to do, I always say, go ahead and register the copyright. You protect it. You can get it into some of these copyright alerting systems more easily and things like that. Sometimes it's not worth it to the creator because they're like, look, if somebody uses it and makes commentary on it, I would never go after them anyway. The thing that you can do is start protecting the words in the thing. I mean, after the Honey Badger video went viral, a Hallmark was making cards that say Honey Badger doesn't give a damn. And there were other companies using that viral moment to profit themselves, but that wasn't going to the original creator. The same with copywriting choreography, something that TikTok creators should consider. But also the second part of that consideration is, would you spend the money to pursue it legally down the road?
Yeah.
And
So in 99.9% of cases, YouTube's systems are going to help you apply copyright. The other question I have is, you do have the option to change the license within YouTube. You can make a video Creative Commons. Is that kind of declaring that your content anywhere in the world is sort of publicly available to use, or is it just from YouTube?
I haven't looked at what it says in the back end of YouTube. If you declare it Creative Commons, I mean, I would think that even if you declared it Creative Commons on YouTube, if somebody pulled it off of YouTube and made a movie out of it, you might still be able to argue, no, I made this so other creators could use this within YouTube. I didn't make it so that Disney could then use it in one of their movies. So, and that's when you get into licensing and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find, here we are. So I'm just going to share my screen here. So what I was briefly talking about here is licenses, standard YouTube license, but then you have the Creative Commons attribution.
That's attribution. So it would, I think the Creative Commons attribution, and that's a good thing for me to go look at, but I think the Creative Commons attribution is sharing that it's something, I would think it was you covering something from Creative Commons. And again, copyright does expire. It's 70 years from the last surviving author's death, which is why you see things like The Little Mermaid, which originally is a Dutch fairy tale being remade in different forms by different places because that work, the copyright has expired and that work can now be used. You see that with historical documents, Shakespeare works, stuff like that. You know, you're 70 years from the death of the author. And every year more stuff goes into Creative Commons where you can use it without copyright protection.
But the reproduction of that content is copyright itself.
Yes.
Like, you know, the remake of Little Mermaid is copyrighted in its own.
Disney's version is copyrighted, but the story and the characters are not.
Anybody can make a film from the story, but not from Disney's properties of that story.
Yeah. Correct. And this is where you get into interesting quirks in things like fan fiction. It's where are the boundaries of using characters that were created elsewhere and those characters' traits and storylines and likenesses. If it's something that is in Creative Commons 70 years after the last surviving author's death, then you can use that character of the Little Mermaid anywhere you want. Same with like the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales and stuff. But if it's Star Wars, well, we're not there. You can't just make Reylo fan fiction and go sell it. So
there may come a time where you can, but I think Disney's going to step in as best they can to keep that from happening. We've already seen that with
we're seeing them fight. I haven't covered that yet. We're seeing them fight with the estates of Stanley and others over the rights to characters created in the MCU. So that is actually going to be coming up on my channel. It's just Brittany's been very busy, so we haven't gotten to. And I don't want to hate Disney forever because I generally am a Disney fan. But if they're going after Stanley's estate, I'm going to get salty really fast. So I haven't gotten all the way into it just yet.
So going back to just general creators here, I wanted to ask you guys where you see the most, I guess, violations, like in general on YouTube. We see people getting copyright claims all the time. Like, how is this most commonly breached in, amongst just creators in general?
Music and commentary are the two that I see. But also like movie breakdowns. But movie breakdowns, that you can get copyright claimed on it and it's not a strike because you're allowed to break down movie trailers. You're adding commentary and sometimes critical commentary to it. I love channels that do that. I watch a lot of them, but that is copyrighted work. So when people are like, how are they allowed to do it? It's not that they're not allowed to do it. It's that they might not on the platform be able to monetize it. And that really becomes the question of, is it monetized? There's tons of channels that react to music. Like, there's the Twins, the new trend, that react to music that they've never heard before, like Dolly Parton's Jolene. But if you react to music like that, the monetization is going to go to somebody else, but you're allowed, that's commentary. You're allowed to do that. So I see people getting confused on commentary, uploading somebody's entire video and go, hey, they suck. That's not commentary.
No.
That's not commentary at all. So the problem is with fair use, it's a balancing act, and each court balances it differently. So balancing how much of the original work you use, how transformative the work is. It becomes this, are you using 10 seconds of a 2-hour video, or are you using 10 seconds of a 30-second video? That matters. Are you giving commentary throughout, or do you play the whole clip and then not give commentary? And sometimes that goes creator by creator. We recently saw a scandal, well, one of many, a scandal with Trisha Paytas, where a company she was working with was claiming every video critical of her, and they were uploading different clips of her videos, and Twitter was full of people saying, no, I'm getting claimed by Trisha Paytas all of a sudden for commentary videos that would show, a minute of her TikTok and then give commentary about what she's saying. So you can see and then you have to fight back. I think the flaw in the system on YouTube is often when you have to respond to a copyright strike or claim, your information is then provided to YouTube and to the other creator. So I've seen people use this to try to dox people, and that's a problem within the platform with the way it's done. But what I would tell creators everywhere is, look, if you are a full-time creator, you need to have an email that is not your personal email, that's not connected to your YouTube account. You need to have an address that is a business address. It can be something like a UPS store box, so that you don't have to worry if you need to defend a claim that your home address is being provided to the creator that did that. Because I have seen people dox that way, and it is a problem on the platform.
I was going to say that's the reason I never really touched it, or didn't anyway, because when I wasn't prepared properly, when I wasn't properly set up, I'm not going to, okay, I'm
not giving you my phone number, my address. Like, don't monetize it. I don't care. I'm not giving you that info.
Take the video. It's fine. It's so it's really important. So you do have that leverage, especially as you grow as a creator, to set up. We've definitely talked about that in the past too. Get yourself an LLC, get yourself a business address. You, Emily, have horror stories about people not sharing.
Get yourself an address that you use for everything on your channel that is not your home address. And for depending on where you live, if you live in a major metro area, not a problem. If you live in a small community, go 1 or 2 towns over to get that UPS box so they don't know exactly where you live. Because it is an issue on the platform. But if this is what you do for a living, then you need to have that business set up so that you can protect yourself and your family, because harassment on the internet is, well, an actual thing. It's a real thing. Happens. So
it looks like Rob's about to say something. I was going to.
You just maybe think about, there's this, I think this TikTok channel who tries to rat out people who are, sort of gloating and whatever. I saw this TikTok last night where somebody had, I think they'd fired employees for some reason. And it was kind of this boasting on a TikTok, but then this other person was able to take their video, flip it, get some information about a company from something in the background, go onto Google Maps, walk down the street, and then find that poster's restaurant or something. It's like the depths people will go to get information about where you are is quite unnerving and scary at times.
That's definitely a conversation to be had about cybersecurity and cyber safety, and making sure metadata is not in the back of photos that are shared or down. It's a whole thing, but it's not a copyright thing. It can be helpful in copyright to prove that you're the one who's created something. I regularly tell people, especially when they're going through a run up to litigation. And in my consulting days, I did a lot of pre-divorce strategy consulting. Yes, it's a thing. There is a pre-game and then an end game when you're talking about divorce. But I told people to screenshot it, because if you write something down on paper, the date that that's written down can be altered, can be written wrong, but it's harder to alter the metadata in your phone. So screenshotting things can give you a timestamp of when you did a thing, when you saw a thing. And this goes for when you get into if you get into a fender bender or somebody hits your car in a parking lot. Use that capability on your phone to take screenshots to protect yourself.
So we should
Anyway,
talk.
far
It's all right. We should talk a little bit about fair use, because that definitely comes into play here. I think what I see most commonly is like, we'll do channel audits, right? Yesterday we did channel audits. I ran across a number of channels that submitted, like, basically they're asking, hey, how can I grow more on YouTube? And they submit their channel, and you look, and it's obviously content that I've seen in other places. So I'm pretty sure they don't own this content. And I think that's where you get into this argument about fair use, because what I might not be seeing is maybe they're reacting to popular videos. Their face isn't on the thumbnail. I don't investigate that deep. I just move on to the next channel as I'm selecting them. But I think that's where things get really sticky, because there's a lot of semantics people like to play when it comes to fair use.
Yeah, you can't just say, oh, it's fair use, and have it be fair use. Also, fair use, again, is a defense. You can still be sued by a creator, even if it's fair use, and they can harass you. I'm covering this with the Triller H3H3 suit that's going on right now over the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight and their commentary on the fight. Their use of it's clearly fair use. Anyone who looks at it goes fair use. They still have to hire an attorney and spend months and months and months paying that attorney to deal with it. At the end, they might win legal fees. Keemstar won legal fees against Romeo Lacoste, but then you have to go and get the legal fees that you won. And in the case of Keemstar, he ended up settling the case for less legal fees, and he took Romeo Lacoste gold play button and then unboxed it online, took a Sharpie, struck out Romeo Lacoste name, and wrote Keemstar on the play button and hung it on his wall like a hunting trophy, which I thought was shady and funny. But it's not as easy as, oh, well, it's fair use, it's all going to be fine. You really have to be comfortable understanding that fair use is for purposes of criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. And then it's not copyright infringement, but it's a defense. In determining fair use, as my cat steps on my keyboard, the court looks at a few factors, and then each court weighs them, which means you might get a judge that has fair use cases all the time. You might get a judge that has never seen a fair use case before and doesn't understand copyright that well. It's they look at the nature of the copyrighted work. What is it? How much you use of the work? I'm going to cough. I apologize.
That's all right.
Sorry. The effect the use has on the market for the work. So when I cover these analysis, you look at something like the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, and it's commentary days after this live sporting event had aired. It's using like 2 minutes of a 3-hour stream, and it's for criticism. They criticize the fighters, they criticize the shape they were in, they criticize the production, they criticize the fight. It was actual criticism, and that falls under fair use. And I cover this quite a bit in context, because I don't think looking at these factors, you're like, but what does that mean? And then you have to weigh looking at different examples. Using music is, even if it is fair use, it's still going to get copyright claimed on YouTube, because the money is still going to go to the recording industry, because you can't monetize it, but you aren't going to get sued over it either. And that's something people don't always understand, the difference between just because it might be fair use doesn't mean it can't be copyright claimed on the platform and that you can still monetize that. Hopefully that makes sense.
I think well, real quick, I just want to remind everybody, as you're watching today, be sure you're writing down any questions you have. We are going to get to Q&A here relatively soon, so we will be taking your questions about copyright, fair use, and all that fun stuff. I was going to say, I think creators should just be aware, because if you have a small channel right now, but you are using content that's not your own to create your videos, be really aware of the semantics behind fair use. Be ready to have to, even if you believe you're on the up and up, be ready to have to challenge this. What if the video you make blows up? That's what you want, right? You want your content to blow up. You want to get popular on YouTube. But when that happens and you've used something that isn't yours, and that person comes after you, whether you're in the right or not, you have to go through that process.
Yep.
And
spend that
now-
money.
And spend the money. And there's no guarantee you'll get that money back. So that's what a lot of these channels need to ask themselves. That's why when we find channels during channel audits that are clearly using other people's content, I always go in with a pretty stern warning, like, make sure you're doing this the right way. And even then, why?
Absolutely. And there's times that it's really valid purpose to use a clip of the news, to use a clip of another YouTuber, to use clips to make a point and create an example, or for commentary, for teaching, things like that. There is reason, but creating a YouTube channel around ripping popular shorts and then re-uploading them is a violation of copyright, and you're not going to have a fair use exception. It's also not a good way to grow a YouTube channel, I don't think.
I completely agree.
So,
So do we want to talk a little bit about what you should do in the circumstance in which somebody uses your content? You're on the other side of this. Someone's using your content. YouTube has flagged the video. We've already discussed the pros and cons of actually going after that person, assuming they have an LLC. What are the steps they should take, or should they let it go?
well, for first steps, Rob, I would love to hear your steps within the YouTube platform, and then I'll talk about the steps after the YouTube platform, because you guys know this platform inside out and backwards.
Yeah,
I show up and talk.
I'm guessing I'm allowed to share this information about YouTube's copyright matching tools, like who has used our content. I don't know why that would be a problem. I'm just illustrating what do you reckon? Do you think I'm good?
I think so. It's just a warning that someone used our content.
Okay, so this is our copyright matching tool, and we have had a lot of people use bits of our content, and it will show you which video has used some of your content, the views that video has got, how much roughly the creator has used of your content, and then you have options here. One of those would be to move to our card. That basically means I'm aware of it. No big deal. I'm putting it aside. That is the big one, really, the request removal. If you do that, then I think that's when you start the copyright takedown workflow. And then the other one is just contact the channel. You say, hey, okay, I can see you used our content. Could you please take it down? We're not going to we might issue a takedown if you don't, or can you just not monetize it? You know, you're doing it one-to-one kind of conversation there. And for us at vidIQ, I've had the attitude of, I'm not too bothered about people using our content, in the sense that we're an education channel and we don't monetize our content itself. And if you're spreading vidIQ's education, that's fine with us. But we've never had a case of a video getting hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views, when I then would really seriously have to take a look at it. I don't think any of these channels have enough subscribers to be monetized in most cases. And Leon Hart, I did an interview with him, and so I gave him permission to use the interview on his channel.
And then it's when you see that 100% of their video, that's when you start looking at that in your own as a content creator. That's one of the things that's considered with fair use too. What percentage of your content is used, and what percentage of their content it is. So when you see 20% of their video, that's probably somebody breaking it down and having a conversation about what you said. When you see it's 100% of their video, it makes sense that it's an interview that streamed on 2 different channels, but was flagged to your channel. But that's something that goes into that consideration of fair use, is how much of your content was used and how much of it is their content. A direct re-upload is never going to count as fair use, ever. But with permission, then it's not a problem.
Mm.
So I would say if you're a creator and you find videos on that feed, consider all the things we talked about. Consider if you are safe in reporting it. If that's what you want to do, if you want to get it taken down, make sure that you're set up. You have an LLC, you have an address that's not your home address, at least, keep yourself safe. And then consider, even then, is this worth pursuing? Because maybe you look at the subscriber count they have, maybe you look at the views they're getting. Usually YouTube's pretty good, in my opinion, about not giving somebody who re-uploaded your content more views than the original upload. That I think you're first to the punch on that video anyway, and I just haven't seen that, but I'm sure it can't have never happened. But generally, in my own experience, I haven't seen anybody getting more views than you in your same exact video. And these are all just things you have to ask yourself. And yeah, of course, as mentioned, you could contact the creator instead of going through the legal trouble and see if maybe there's a misunderstanding. Maybe you can get this resolved amicably.
Yeah, the copyright system is not meant to be used because you don't like what another creator has said about you or your content. It's not that that's not the purpose. The purpose is, hey, they took my content and directly re-uploaded it with nothing else. Using clips of you is probably always going to be fair use, even if it's highly critical. If it borders on harassing, doxing, and things like that, then there's another reporting system within YouTube to use for that. And that's when you get into like privacy claims and stuff like that. But as creators, I think part of the creator environment is also understanding when it's okay to ask to have a video taken down and when it's not. I generally don't. I see these things on occasion. And you know what? I see myself as a resource channel. Look, when people hear me or see me, they generally know it's me. So I'm not worried about somebody thinking it's that other channel and being confused. Just because I've built a community and a channel around me as a personal brand, my name, my face, my voice, my hair. So you're not going to be confused there. And I think that's one of the things when you build a channel on YouTube is what is your purpose of your channel and how are you branding your channel so that you're recognizable. If you see a Mr. Beast clip up on somebody else's channel, you're not going to go, oh, is this the guy? Is this his channel? You're going to be like, oh, they uploaded a Mr. Beast clip or something. You know, it's becoming a recognizable creator is part of that too.
I think the thing that we're all kind of watching out for right now, if we're interested in YouTube Shorts, is what YouTube's going to do to address the content that's not already on their platform that's being taken from another platform. And that's the one that I don't know if anyone's heard anything. Rob, maybe I don't know if there's been any updates. I haven't kept up lately, but that's what needs to be addressed in my opinion.
Other than if YouTube can detect a watermark, you know, the TikTok or the Reels watermark, I mean, realistically, unless all of these big video platforms come together in some sort of agreement to share their copyright matching content, I don't know how you police it in an effective way.
Isn't Instagram doing this though? Instagram is suppressing videos that have the TikTok watermark on them.
Yeah, and YouTube have said that if the TikTok watermark is there, they won't be eligible for bonus payments. But I guess it's when somebody is able to take a video from TikTok without the watermark. That is,
there's apps that do that.
Doable. Yeah, how does another video platform work out if that is original content or not?
I think the watermark is going to be the best way to combat it. As I was going through the short shelf, I mean, maybe videos are getting suppressed because I am seeing it less and less. I'm seeing,
right,
about your own experiences, but when I go through shorts now, I'm not seeing as many TikTok re-uploads as I used to. But that would be a great example of what not to do on YouTube. So I feel like we're winding down a little bit. I feel like we're getting to the next segment of our stream, unless you have any more topics you think we should talk about first.
Dan, you mentioned like what does the creator do when they find people are using their content? What about the other end of the spectrum where you have a copyright claim against your content?
Oh yes, we've talked about so many things. Okay, so let's discuss that, because this can be something that we at vidIQ have even dealt with, evidently.
A small smattering of examples, 3 out of 1,000 videos. I don't think that's too bad.
I think you had to get a few so you can use them as examples. I feel like this was brilliant and intentional, because how do you teach it if you've never gone through the process of it?
Yep.
I'm glad you said that, Emily, because the top video here was intentional. It's like
educational.
And the title was, "Can you legally use copyright music on YouTube?" And so I did for this video. But I did it through YouTube used to have this thing called music policies where they would actually tell you what would happen if you use a certain piece of music. They've removed that now. So I think I used Arcade Fire. And it was
says
blocked.
Crown of Love, Arcade Fire, and then it shows you who owns it and who the copyright owners are on behalf of who, and the timestamp. I mean, YouTube system, can we just appreciate how advanced YouTube system is to show you this? Look, copyrights are big money. Copyrights are an actual thing. You know, when you talk about other intangible rights like Bitcoin and NFTs, copyrights in there, intellectual property is massive amounts of money. Licensing the MCU or selling the MCU to Disney, these are massive amounts of money in intellectual property. So I'm not surprised that YouTube is working with it, because we know that YouTube loves having music companies using their platform and YouTube Music as a place to put out music videos ever since MTV took a giant dump and doesn't show music videos anymore. Sorry, I'm done soapboxing. I just think it's really interesting because intellectual property rights aren't going anywhere. And it's the only way you can create something out of nothing. You know, J.K. Rowling on a napkin created an entire universe that is very, very lucrative. And copyrights are kind of the only place you can still do that: copyright, trademark, and intellectual property.
So you can see at the top here how this video is affecting my channel and the audience. It doesn't impact the channel in terms of performance or anything, but the video is blocked in 2% of audiences. I think it's, unfortunately, Australia and New Zealand will never know about whether they can use copyrighted music.
They can't do it so much that they don't even get to talk about it.
Yeah. But here via reactions, you know, you can, if you use these automated systems, then that will remove a copyright claim, be it trim out the segment, replace it with, can you imagine if just some random music from the audio library was inserted at that point? It'd be a bit weird, but you can also dispute it as well. Now, in theory, I could dispute this and say, hey, this is just educational stuff. I'm actually using this music to prove or explain whether you can use it. But, you know, we don't monetize our content. It's not an issue for us. But just to prove how copyrighted content, but this is not an advocation to do it. This video still got 500,000 views. So it wasn't suppressed in the recommendation system, but I was specifically going after a search term of, can you legally use music on YouTube? And it's purely educational. But, you know, obviously for vidIQ, it's a very unique situation that we're in, that we're able to do this and not really worry about monetization aspects of it. But this is where it's a copyright.
Don't want a demonetized video with over 500,000 views.
This is a copyright claim, though. This is where I guess the creator, YouTube, and the copyright owner are almost working mutually. There's a mutually exclusive deal going on here. The owner could monetize this content and get, you know, $1,000 from 500,000 views or whatever the might is, and we're happy with that, in order to educate creators on this topic. So that's an example of how we've had copyright claims in the past.
There's a new feature that YouTube is testing whereby you can actually go in and try to have its system mute the song. And it implies that it's not going to mute the commentary over it. And recently I had a couple of old videos on my first channel come up, and you know, and I noticed a couple copyright claims, and I tried this feature, and both times I tried it didn't work. So I think they're still working on it, but it just gave up. It tried to mute just the song, and it couldn't do it. So we want to move on to Q&A. There's a few things we need to do first, though, like reset everybody's brains. As you know, we are vidIQ, and we have all kinds of cool tools, products, and services for you to take advantage of, such as this one. Introducing daily ideas from vidIQ. AI designed for those that have to create. Inspired by the creators that start working when others stop. Because their inspiration doesn't care for 9 to 5. Creators that push their ideas 1 step, even 3 steps beyond the obvious, and won't ever settle for anything less. Discover AI-generated ideas made for your channel only, the creator whose brain works like nobody else's. Newly refreshed every single day, because we know how much it hurts to get caught sleeping on a trend. And there's nothing sweeter than waking up to a view count you didn't dare dream of. So we made View Prediction. See all your opportunities ranked by their potential to get you more views. When your creativity and our algorithm work together, surprising things happen. And this is just the start. The power of artificial intelligence is in your hands, and we can't wait to see what you create. Daily ideas from vidIQ. AI-powered inspiration, inspired by you.
So I have a question, Dan. When you did that, the voiceover for that, did you just have to go right up to a microphone and say, "Daily ideas, just for you"?
It was
I-
fantastic. I
Yeah.
like Dan's ad read voice.
Me too. Me too.
Thank you. I had several takes. There was a lot of, mostly because the script kept changing. there was a lot of back and forth on that one, but it came out really good. I'm very, very happy with our team.
I saw it quite a lot at Vid Summit.
So you're sick of it.
No, I love it. I just, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, wait, that's me, not with purple hair.
I'm in there too. They put me in a little tiny box towards the end.
So
I saw that after the fact. Oh, look at me.
Yep.
All right. So as you guys know, before we get into questions, there's one more order of business we take care of every single week, or not every single week, every single Emily visit. This is something unique we get to do every so often, and it goes a little something like this. It is defend the indefensible.
That's right, baby. I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, and you can
I'm
pay me.
so glad you're
accordingly.
here.
I'm so excited to be here. I mean, I think you're so excited for me to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of a couple different ages, Dr. Savage is here to break your face and do it in your face, which rhymes because it's the same word.
I couldn't think of anything more indefensible than to allow Savage to join our live stream.
That's right.
For this segment. So
This
you don't know.
This is the honorable Dr. Emily D. Baker, right? That's what she is, right? It's a good dog. Listen, I heard so much about you, much of which I cannot repeat.
Oh,
on
I
this live
thought you
stream.
might be a former client, Savage.
Nah, man, let me tell you something. I'm so savage, I sue lawyers. That's what I do. That's how it works.
Oh, dear.
So this is Savage.
What's up, Savage?
What's going on?
He gives someone's definition of YouTube advice, and he'll be joining us for some defend the indefensible. How do we want to get started today? We never plan out who goes first.
Let's explain the rules first of all. So Dan, Emily, myself, and Savage must vigorously support a theme for 30 seconds that is either distasteful, politically incorrect, plainly wrong, self-derisory, or entirely contrary to the creator's known opinions. And at the end of it, we decide who was the winner. And it's mostly former professional district attorney Emily, who's very good at this type of thing.
I don't know. Dan's had some pretty great performances. So have you, Rob. We're gonna get to see how Savage does.
We got to remember Dan's best one. What was it? Something? No, we better not go down.
No, we better not. But you've got to also remember that when I come on to stream, we do get loaded up with law nerds. Law nerds, it's okay to vote for somebody else. They're anonymous votes. I don't see it.
I do.
So yeah,
I know what you did.
The first with who? I guess.
What?
So
what happened?
Yeah, we need to figure out who's going first. So I think maybe Rob, maybe you give one to somebody.
All right,
we'll go around the table.
I'm gonna go with Emily on this one. Right. Okay. So let me just make sure that I've got this lined up, and then I need to add it to the messaging at the bottom. And so, Emily, you are going to defend the following, and it's a little bit like this in 30 seconds. You ready?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Please don't hashtag free Britney. My channel solely relies on this saga dragging out for as long as possible.
Look, here's the facts, people. Britney Spears' new lawyer, Matthew Rosengart's kind of hot. We finally got into the place of covering this case where the lawyers are fighting in a very interesting and sassy footnote way. If Britney is released from this conservatorship next month, I'm going to have to go back to covering Without a Crystal Ball. And it is the last thing in the world that I want to do. We have to stick to Free Britney. It is my favorite type of content. And I'll miss Rosengart's face on my screen.
Oh, that was perfect timing there. Very perfect timing. So essentially, the lawyers are hot. I think that's a pretty good argument. I've got to be honest. Have
you guys seen? We've started calling him Rosen Daddy on my channel, which is vaguely gross and disrespectful, and I live for it. But he is an attractive man. I mean, Vivian Thoren, Dad Spears' attorney, is also a nice-looking woman, but her attitude has become so vile that it's hard to see her as such. So. We love Rosen Daddy. So there you go.
All right then. So that was
Not
Can you
the
repeat the
answer
question
you
for
were
my
expecting
again?
at all.
Look, Dan, look, I don't know what you're doing up here, man. You see that thing went right over my face? If you do that again, I'm canceling you. Dan,
yes, there we go.
Dan. Here's the
There you
thing.
go,
Let me
buddy.
explain something to you. Dan,
Is that better, Savage?
There you go. See what I'm saying? There you go. That's better. That's what people came for me. I don't know what you're doing in here.
All right.
You can
Okay.
put me at the bottom.
Well,
I've already gone.
The last thing that Dan has canceled was his order from McDonald's because they didn't have the McFlurry machine working.
They
Right,
never
you
do.
You never have the McFlurry machine.
That's
working.
exactly
It's a
right. We
conspiracy.
should class action lawsuit.
Thing's a joke.
Actually, there was a lawsuit over it that I haven't gotten to cover yet regarding who can fix the machines. It's a whole saga.
I actually saw that. Yeah, we need to go into that. We need to dive deep into that. All right, what are we doing
We'll
next?
get into it.
What
We'll
happens?
get deep
Who's
into that
next?
sassy
What are we
goodness.
doing? By the way, what the heck is going on right now? I'm not even sure.
Well, all right. How about then? Since Savage is getting bored, we'll get you next.
All right.
So this is what Savage needs to from me. This is what Savage is going to need to defend.
Right. So you get the idea of this now, Savage. You got to defend this, even if you don't agree with it. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. I
Yeah.
do that every week on this channel.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
All right. I guess.
Okay. The statement you are defending is it is okay to always wear sunglasses no matter where you are, what time of day it is.
I mean, what this isn't even a question. Why would someone ask this and think it's kind of indefensible? Like, by the way, think about all the people that wear glasses all the time. Look at Sammy Davis Jr. You ever take them off? No. What about Stevie Wonder? Did he ever take them off? No. I mean, drop the mic, right? I mean, why wouldn't they take theirs off? You gonna tell them to take it off? Heck no. You gonna tell me to take mine off? No. I'm so savage, I'm never taking these off. And if you ever tell Stevie Wonder to take his glasses off, you're getting canceled. So there you go. Cancellation. Period.
All right. There we are. Savage. You
Of
kind
course, we've got
made it
Viper in the
through.
chat saying this needs no defense.
Exactly. There you go. Viper 2. You never asked Viper to take his glasses off.
We've got two for I wear my sunglasses at night here.
Okay. So I guess, Emily, you would be next.
I have one for you,
nominating
Rob.
us. All right. Okay.
Dan, do you want me to type it in?
Yes, please.
I cannot see it. I've gone off the screen.
Thank you.
Oh, I get really nervous at this point. I like
That
the
was pretty
idea of the
easy. I don't
game,
know. What was the
but,
problem?
but actually playing it.
Defend the fact that Canada is actually America Junior. Go ahead.
Ooh. Oof, that's a bit hard.
It's America's hat.
It's
All right.
America's hat. Oh
All
my
right,
goodness.
Rob, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Here's the statement you were defending.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's
Candy
Candy
corn.
corn are the best and only Halloween candy.
I wanna throw up.
Okay. So, first of all, not being American and only being, renting an apartment in Canada, not being a Canadian citizen or anything, I do not know what candy corn actually is. Is this not like when you have sweet corn and you have it from a barbecue or something? I'm sorry, Dan. This is a terrible indefensible.
Mine.
All I
You're
can say
supposed to
is
defend the indefensible.
all I
Fake
can
it.
say is yes, it is. Thank you for listening.
Imagine candying rabbit poop. It's basically the same thing.
What is
Candy corn is a hot topic. We should just ask Dan that too. Candy corn is a very controversial topic. We
It's
might
terrible.
talk
It's
about
like
it on my
pineapple
channel
on pizza.
Friday.
Why would you do such a thing?
Exactly.
Rob, I'm going to send you candy corn.
Thank you. Please do.
That's an
please do.
international thing right there. You don't want to do that. It's an international crime.
So I guess
Chat is very, very divided.
Dan, can we get a poll? Candy corn, yes or no?
I mean, the answer is no. What are we talking about?
What do you mean the answer's no, Savage?
What do you mean? What do you mean the answer is no? What? Are you
Candy
drinking the
corn's
cognac this early in the
amazing.
morning?
I need to Google this in the background.
sipping on
what
the
is
yak?
candy corn?
I love candy corn.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's them.
Wait, we
Yeah,
didn't get
them.
who won defend
Nice.
the indefensible? We're
Well,
not done yet.
well,
Rob
Done
didn't,
yet?
Dan
Savage-
didn't get to go. Rob, Savage, you
needs,
gotta ask.
Savage
Dan.
needs to do one we're done.
What do I need to do?
So
You actually want me to do something? What? No one told me about
You-
this.
Do something.
you need to. So you know how you just gave me like off the dome piece. Canada is the hat of America. You need to do
Yeah.
something, but with
God.
Dan in mind.
Oh my God. Okay. So where do I
Yeah.
put it?
Don't
put it
ask
in
the Canadian about
oh, wait. Yeah, put it in
American
the-
candy.
Put in the private chat. Rob will grab it for
Yeah.
the banner.
So I need to put.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
We're always
Here we go.
prepared on Wednesday live streams.
Yeah.
We're professionals here, people. Professionals. I bring it to every channel I go to. My professional YouTubeism.
By now, you
Who's
should all have
enjoying-
All right.
a
There you
full
go.
page of questions for
All
us.
right. Who's enjoying this deep and meaningful conversation about copywriting? Right. So, Dan, are you ready?
I'm not ready.
You're probably about to insult the entirety of our audience here.
Great.
But here we go. I just need to save that. Right. You ready, Dan? Can you defend the following? All Minecraft gamers live in their parents' basements.
How are you supposed to get anything else done? What are you supposed to do? Do this out of your parents' living room? Do this out of their kitchen? You have to go into the basement and hide this really weird hobby that you have of talking at Minecraft and expecting other people to watch, right? If you do that upstairs so everyone can hear you, you'll never get anything done. What are you doing? I'm trying to make a video. What? Well, what does it mean? Does anyone watch? And then you have to admit that nobody does.
Finally.
Ding, 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 ding.
Finally got him to it.
Did you guys all see Free Guy?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Free
No.
Guy was a fantastic movie, and there's a joke about this within the movie that had not only my husband and I, but my kids rolling with laughter in the theater. And the movie's brilliantly put, and this is not a spoiler, but you're seeing what's happening in the gameplay. Then all of a sudden the character is like, "Mom, no, you can't vacuum now. I'm streaming." And it's so fun. It's such a funny movie because it brings in quite a lot of YouTube gamer culture, and it actually has streamers and YouTube streamers and Twitch streamers within the movie as well. It's just tremendously well done.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I had not seen that yet.
Cannot plug it.
I demand a recount. What's going on in this poll? This is some shenanigans.
Well, so first of all, Candy Corn lost. Oh no, it lost. Yeah, Candy Corn no, 58%.
Of course.
Yes,
we're gonna see.
41%.
We're doing some topics around Candy Corn for Court of Public Opinion on Friday.
Oh my god.
So we will see. We might have to come back. I do not accept these. I demand a recount. I do not accept these results. There is a conspiracy against Candy Corn. And I do not like this slander towards America's staple of Halloween.
You know what's nice about candy corn? Because there's a lot of shortages right now. If you go to the store and you can't find it, you can just pick up some sidewalk chalk. It's the same.
Pretty much.
Oh.
You know, the other thing is it's kind of like what is that stuff they garnish? You know that stuff you're not supposed to eat, they put on a steak? That's what it is. That's what candy corn is. It's a garnish. It's just Halloween
for
garnish.
Other candy.
That's really what it is. It's just to look at it. Look, it's Halloween, and then you throw it away. Otherwise, you're gonna chip your tooth.
So I have a question, Travis MCP. Are you staying for the rest of the live stream?
Yeah, I mean, I can. How much longer is the live stream? I mean, I only got a couple hours.
That's the question. How much longer is the live stream?
Well, I'm not asking you because you'll be on it for 27 hours. I ain't trying to live stream with you for 25 hours. What how long is it? We got like 30, 40 minutes? I can
we have like 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
I'll hang out. Yeah. People want me to hang in the chat. Put it up. Yes, Savage. I'll stay around. I'll do all the things. What are we talking about?
We're taking questions related to copyright.
Oh, 100%. You should absolutely copyright people. You should copyright strike everyone you can. Matter of fact, right after this video, I always copyright strike vidIQ videos because I'm in them.
You should privacy claim them too.
I have enough money to buy some candy corn. That's about it.
We'll also be doing another round of Defend the Indefensible, I think, later on.
Oh, Lord.
I've certainly got one more lined up.
I've got one more as well.
All right, then. Shall we try and take some questions down in this absolute cluster of a live stream right now?
Yeah, let's get this one. I don't even
All
know
right, here we go. Straight in there.
What are your thoughts on someone copyright striking another creator's parody of his song because he is mad about his wife being called out?
Whoa.
Do that all the time. I hate
that sounds like a highly specific example. I'm not aware
very
of the
loaded.
context of.
I have a friend who
I'm not aware of the context of it. I know lots of YouTube drama, but not all the YouTube drama. I think parody falls clearly within fair use. If it borders on harassing, that could be another thing. But parody falls clearly within fair use, and it shouldn't be struck. I think, look, my personal feelings, not legal advice, is that it's a dick move to just use the privacy system or the copyright strike system because you don't like something. That's not how the law works. The law does not operate based on your feelings. It's based on, the law. So just because you don't like it doesn't mean you should claim it. So I am not for that. And I think if somebody gets claimed for that, they should respond and defend their channel.
Say I buy a subscription from Storyblocks. There are other. So what Storyblocks is a service that provides B-roll, music, that type of thing, then cancel it and buy a different subscription like Epidemic Sound, am I still able to use Storyblocks music previously downloaded for future videos?
I would have to look at their licensing provisions. It depends on how it licenses. If the license stays with the content you made, then that's fine. If the license only exists for the time that you have a subscription, then that's not fine. So it depends on the way that their licensing is written, which if you're buying a subscription, I imagine they would make it very clear what their licensing is and when their licensing period lasts. So and also remember, if you're buying a license on things like that, if you're using it to make money, you need to buy a commercial license, not a personal use license.
As far as I'm aware, in most cases, once you've downloaded the asset from that provider, it's a lifetime license. But as Emily says, definitely check the small print.
Here, I'm pulling up Storyblocks right now. It says, what rights are included with the individual license? All licenses are royalty free in perpetuity. Perpetuity means forever. If you don't get that reference, you're probably too young to watch my content. So in perpetuity means forever. You'll never have to pay royalty fees to keep your license. Unlimited projects. Licenses are worldwide. No geographic restrictions. Includes up to $20,000 indemnification for the individual license holder, which is a pretty good deal. That means indemnification means if somebody comes for you, they will defend you because you bought it on their platform. So keep receipts. All the receipts. And then license covers usage by the individual for both personal and commercial projects. So it sounds like that's a pretty good coverage. Indemnification absolutely matters in that context. So,
well, you know what's great about the Savage Academy? For only $39.95 every 5 minutes, I actually have Savage Sounds, which are coming out now. You can license all the music that I've stolen from other YouTube channels and put it in your own videos where the copyright strikes don't come to you. They come through me. I'm a proxy for you. Take care of all that
Savage is inspired by Ami in a Hellcat.
That's right.
Have you got any samples? Have you got any samples you can play right now, Savage?
I actually, believe it or not, I do. That's what's surprising about this. I literally do. You want to hear a legit one?
Sure.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
I need a double cheeseburger. Hold the lettuce. Don't be frontin', son. No seeds on the bun.
Okay, wait a minute. Here's one. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this or not. Let's see if you can hear it. This is one I did on my iPad. Let's see. Will this work? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Can you hear that a little bit? Can you hear that?
Ooh.
It gets funky in a minute. Hold on. Watch out. Here we go. Put your hands together, everybody. All right, now. It's a little bit funky. Let's go.
The quality of that is so bad. Even YouTube's copyright system would be able to detect it anyway.
That's called the Savage Sound.
Oh, dear.
That's the Savage Sound Academy. $39.95 every 5 minutes. Go ahead and reach out to me on www.savageacademy.com.net.
Can I just add, although you may have these assets in perpetuity, that might not stop you getting copyright claims through the automated system. So that's when, as Emily said, having proof that you do have license to use it forever is when you might need to produce it. So do be aware that even if you...
I have to go back to serious Emily now.
Sorry, what was that, Emily?
I said, keep your receipts.
Yeah.
I have to go back to serious Emily now. And that's not just for a year. Keep your receipts. If you're buying licensing to anything, if it's a font, because, fonts are copyrighted often. You can't just put a font on a shirt and sell it as merch. You have to make sure that you have the license for it. So you can't just grab things off of Google. They're probably copyrighted. If you purchase a license for something, you need to keep it somewhere so that you have it forever.
Thanks for mentioning fonts. The last time I brought up fonts, I saw people in the chat with little shocked face emojis.
They were like, shut up, Dan. We don't want to know what we don't want to know.
We don't want to think about fonts. Like, well, you should think about fonts.
There are some that you don't have to worry about because they're just licensed forever. But, there are some Creative Commons on that. Anyway.
For a YouTube-specific email account, is it best to get another Gmail address, which I'd attach to my Google account, an AOL account, or some other email-providing website?
Yes.
I'm not bothered by the provider as long as it's one that's not guessable and not forward facing. So not firstname.lastname@gmail.com for your YouTube channel. Something like Rosengart is God @gmail.com. Well, now I've said it, people can guess it, but something that's not guessable for your, a pet's first name and another pet's first name. What do pets have last name? Maybe not. Something that's known to you, or a random series of numbers that's not guessable, so that when you're responding to things, you use a different email address and it's not forward facing, because hacking and taking over YouTube channels is something that happens. And if your channel's connected to an email address that's easily guessable, it just puts you at greater risk. That's why I always say get a separate account if you're thinking of starting a channel. If you've already started a channel and the shit's out of the horse on that, then you've got to do other things to try to protect it, like getting a two-factor authentication at a minimum, getting something like a Triton key where you have a physical key to lock your account is another option. Cybersecurity is absolutely a big deal.
Another musical interlude by Savage Sounds. Here we go.
Get it, Savage.
It's Savage Funk.
Why don't more people do this? This is great.
My kid actually likes to stream gaming content and made all his own music on a GarageBand on his iPad that he uses in the background of his streams.
That's dedication.
I mean, he's 13. He's got a lot of time on his hands. So, question, if you get copyrighted and after a few months or years you get monetized, will those videos affect the channel? I mean, they just won't be monetized.
Mm-hmm. So if you get copyright claims, just can't monetize it.
And we saw that when we looked, when Rob so helpfully pulled up kind of the back end of vidIQ's channel and showed you, it will show you how it impacts your channel in that structure. So you can see if it will impact or not, and then make a decision from there. I mean, I know people like to dog on YouTube as a platform, but I think YouTube has made this very workable for creators. Both for creators who are worried about protecting their copyright and for creators who are trying to understand their copyright. I think it has absolutely made it easy and workable.
The unknown aspect of that is, because I wasn't entirely sure if the creator was actually monetized, whether or not application into the YouTube Partner Program could be affected if you have an excess of videos that have copyrighted content on them. And that's still a gray area. I've always said that, hey, if a human reviewer is looking at your channel and 80% of the watch time you earned to get to 4,000 hours of watch time is from copyrighted content, is it worth monetizing the channel? But that is just my own sort of personal viewpoint. And there's no way to prove whether or not copyrighted content on your channel impacts application. But yeah, once you're monetized, as you say, you won't earn any revenue from that content.
Can I do reactions to covers of songs, or will that also get a copyright strike?
It shouldn't get strikes. I mean, it can get claims. There's plenty of channels that do music reaction. I think I mentioned Twins the New Trend earlier. It's just a matter of not being able to monetize the content, because even covers of songs, there are parts and elements of those songs that are still copyrighted. So you shouldn't get a strike for that.
Yeah, I tend to find, and this is merely an observation more than anything else, that you're more likely to get a strike from very new content. Let's say you start putting up lots of clips from the Spider-Man film when it's just released, or I think Adele's about to release a new album. If you're using that copyrighted content within the first few days and weeks, I think I'm going to call this like an unwritten rule of statute of limitations on YouTube, in that it seems to be that the older the content is, the less likely it will get a strike. No evidence to prove that, just my observations.
So in the chat, American Guy Reacts says, I meant claims. Yes, reactions to covers of songs can absolutely get claims. How fast that will happen depends on the system, but it can happen.
To be honest, that's how I paid my way through college. I was copyright claiming everybody. I just went through some of my favorite songs, just claimed on their behalf. And then I bought their music for 99 cents and kept the rest of the money for myself. It's not really a pyramid scheme, so to speak, or money laundering, so to speak. It's more of a cleaning, a cleansing, so to speak, of their money, you know.
Which college was this, Savage?
A washing, if you will.
A washing, if you will, yes. Not a pyramid, but
not
a triangle.
A laundering.
Yeah. An upside down triangle, so not really a pyramid scheme at all.
Which college was this, Savage?
It was a Academy of Fine Arts of Compton.
Carnegie.
Yeah, it was Carnegie Fine Arts of Compton.
I saw a question from Pocket Angie Tips, which is a great question. And actually, I don't know the answer. I have a suspicion, but Dan or Rob or Savage.
Nope, doesn't go away. Sorry, too bad. They even
Savage
tell
is
you when you
actually
get a
right.
strike. Tells you. It says
Savage is
you,
right for once. Categorically, no. It doesn't fix the issue.
What do you mean for
was
what?
my guess.
And ideally, with copyright claims, you should resolve the copyright claim before you delete the video, if that's what you intend to do.
Yeah,
There you go.
strikes are like herpes.
Like a cousin,
They
you
stick,
can't
they
get rid of
stick
the drug.
around. They just hang
For
out.
90 days. They stick around for 90 days.
That's true. Not a great herpes example. Sorry, I have to defamate. Like multiple defamation cases that I'm covering deal with herpes. It's just an insult now that
It's
people
the
will
silent
not
killer.
tolerate. But
It's
no,
a silent, ugly
strikes
killer.
linger. They fester like a wound for 90 days, and then they go away.
Dan, I tell you what we can definitely do for this video. We can definitely click that this live stream is not for kids. I think we're very safe on this particular one.
If
All of
there were
Emily's
any questions
content.
about any of the videos, this would be the one.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, you can actually protect yourself against herpes by wearing lipstick. I heard that works.
All of Emily's content.
What
not
is going
related
on
to
right
kids.
now?
I don't know.
I'm
Just
sure
remember,
But
Dan,
Savage
you're-
and Emily on the same stream, and we just decided it was going to go that way.
You're the host of this one, Dan. You're 100% responsible for the content that goes out.
Okay, yeah, great. So I guess I need to establish more ground rules then. All right. I saw someone mention gaming channels, but the chat jumped on me. I was actually going to say something about gaming channels a second ago. Gaming channels, if you upload gaming content to YouTube, you are also at the mercy of the property owners of those products. So gaming creators are very generous, I would say, with allowing us YouTube creators to make entire careers out of covering their games on YouTube. At any point, they could turn around and say, we're not okay with this anymore. So that's how much this affects all the people.
So Lynn's Ridby, hopefully I've pronounced your channel some way correctly there. Why can you remove music from some copyright claims but not others? I'm not aware of this. Could you perhaps elaborate on this? Because as far as I'm aware, if the automated copyright system picks it up, then it should give you options to remove it, replace it, etc., etc. So if you can let us know a bit more on that, maybe we can try and answer the question.
It's like the hug that won't stop hugging. You know those people that come up to you and hug you real long, and you're like, listen, I'm over this hug. And you let go, and they won't let go. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, awkward hugger. That's all right. We're going to call Emily the awkward hugger. Can we get shirts made? Merch opportunity, awkward hugger.
How to not get strikes when you react to movies? So what's the safest way to avoid claims or strikes if you're a reaction channel is how I'm going to view this question.
I mean, for strikes, it's going to depend on who you're reacting to. And I think definitely taking a cue from the other channels out there that do this and watching how they do it. Like Screen Crush does a tremendous job at this. And you look at how much they play to how much they react. I think for claims, you might still get claimed. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you can't monetize it. But one of the things is keeping your clips shorter and commenting in between instead of playing the whole thing and then commenting on it. But you should not get a strike for that. You can get claims for that. I don't know how it's monetized within some of the big channels that do the Easter eggs and the spoilers and the top 10 things you didn't see in this latest episode of The Mandalorian or whatever it is. God, I miss that show. But it just might not be monetized. And that's a creator decision. If it's how you're growing your channel, then there are other ways to monetize your channel.
You know, it's funny. I did some reactions to like this K-pop stuff. I don't understand it at all, to be honest. And no claims or anything. I must have done it perfect because no claims or nothing.
It's probably because nobody watched it, Savage, if we're being
At least more than no one watched it.
Even the automated system thought, nah, just not worth it. Just not worth
Rob,
it.
why are you such a mad Canadian? I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice. Oh, because you're not actually Canadian.
Yeah.
You're a fake Canadian. You're
Very,
British.
very correct.
Y'all just salty because we
Faux
kicked your butt
Canadian.
and dip the tea dipped a tea into the Boston Harbor or something like that. I wasn't paying attention on history. I'm not gonna lie.
Lynn's
Hamilton
is
covers
back.
it pretty well.
So if we're talking about old dance videos, some of them have the option to mute the music, remove. Others, it just gives me the option to dispute. No other option to remove it. You found a gap in my knowledge here. I can guess and say that maybe the copyright is on video content as well as audio content, which means that you can't replace video. You can only replace music. That might be one reason. Or maybe YouTube does have slightly different rules in terms of the copyright, depending on what the owner wants happening. Those are my best answers. I'm sorry, I don't have a better one for you.
Yeah, it could depend on the owner of the copyright. There could be different options. It also could be how much music is in it and how long, and whether they think they could actually remove the music from the video and still have the video have sound or not. So that might be part of the problem too, depending on how the sound populates on the video.
I was about to grab this one.
Sure, Dan.
I have a Minecraft channel. How can I not get copyright? I'm guessing they mean a claim when I do a Minecraft montage. So it's one thing to play Minecraft. It's another to, when people do montages, generally speaking, they're not using a montage of their own moments. And that's probably what you mean, especially if you are getting claims. So those are the other creators who made that content telling you to stop. And the way to avoid this is to either stop doing that, or when you make these montages, you can go out and get permission from them. And that permission, you can do it through Twitter DMs or whatever it is. And if they know and expect that you're going to put their clip in a montage, they're less likely to go and claim you. It'd be kind of weird if they approved of it and then claimed you, but those claims are coming directly from them. So you need to be doing the proper steps to get permission to do that. Or better yet, put a montage together of your own best Minecraft moment.
Here's a tip, by the way. Finding it on Google does not equal permission, and
Correct.
attribution does not equal permission. I'm covering on my channel a copyright lawsuit between Lisa Rinna and a paparazzi company because she posted photos that they took of her and her family to her Instagram, and they said, "Oh, those photos are of you, but we own the copyright to them."
Wow.
And they're not wrong.
That's like a Uno reverse card.
It is in a reverse. It's like, I make money off of taking pictures of you and monetizing your likeness because you're a celebrity. But if you use the photos, I'm going to sue you. Yeah, it's a dick move. It's one of those things that needs to be sorted out within copyright, but it's not going to stop Lisa Rinna from having to hire an attorney, go to court, and deal with it. So,
yeah.
Don't look. Here's the thing. Start with don't use other people's shit and go and work backwards from there.
Sticking on the topic of montages a little bit, because Emily, you were talking earlier about the percentage of use. So let's say I take 3% of somebody's video, but I take 3% of 30 videos and create like the best clips of all of us videos to create a montage. Without going into specifics and details, is a montage by itself enough transformational content, or is it almost like the worst of the worst? You're just picking content from here, there, and everywhere to create a copyright monster, so to speak?
I mean, I think there's a definite argument. Again, fair use goes case by case, depending. The courts are going to be like, I need to see it before I can decide. So not legal advice, but montages are transformative in that it's not the original way the thing was displayed. The original way the thing was displayed was probably in a long form content, and then it was all clipped down in different creators' content into a montage. I think it would be different if it's from all different channels and all different games, or if you're montaging one person's channel. So it just really depends on how you do it. So that's the hard thing with copyright and with fair use, is it depends on how it's done, and it depends on what the court you end up in on a given day decides. Now, would another creator likely strike you or copyright claim you for 3 seconds of a video? Unlikely.
So that comment that was just up from VidSummit, Legal saying assume everything has a copyright. And then that plays into this question that I wanted to grab, which is how do I check if a sound or anything is copyrighted? So I think we got to clarify here that everything that someone makes is their copyright. That's their material. What you're looking for is music that you have permission to use. So I saw someone mentioning Epidemic Sound. Is that okay to use? Well, if you are a member of their service, and you have a license to it, yes, of course. You can't just rip music off the site without being a member and not having a license. Anything you use that isn't yours, that you didn't make by hand, is going to be someone else's. So you have to make sure you have permission to do it. So I think here you're kind of asking the wrong question. It's not about hunting down songs that forgot to copyright themselves. That's
No,
not how
everything
it
is copyrighted once it's made.
Yeah.
Whether it's a registered copyright or not is different. Some people will go ahead and put the little R with the circle around it to show it's a registered copyright, like a register, or the C with the circle. The R is the trademark. But some people won't do that on a thing for a design purpose. But yes, assume that if it's been created, we talked about this at the beginning of the stream, if it is in a fixed form, and it is a literary work, a musical work, a dramatic work, choreography, pictures, graphics, movies, sound recordings, if they are made, put on paper, put on screen, put on pixels, it's copyrighted.
I got an interesting scenario that happened to me. Not me, but this other dude I know named Travis. He made some music in GarageBand, right? He was making some fat beats. They were amazing. I couldn't believe it myself. My eyes were falling out of my head. And he played it on a live stream and everything. It was really cool. Everyone was vibing. It was doing good. And later on, he got a copyright claim. Because I think, if I'm correct, which usually I am, one of the loops or something that's in the GarageBand, I guess, had some type of claim on it, and they somehow figured it out through the song, which was original, that it was claimed. So now that's something else you got to think about. You get one of them things, put them beats together. Maybe some of them loops are claimed or something like that. So watch out, I guess.
I would need to look at the back end of GarageBand to see how they license those to be used, because those are in there for use. So you should be able to fight that claim on this is fair use because they are provided. But I don't know what the license is for music out of GarageBand.
Yeah, I don't either.
Can you import beats into GarageBand? Let's say you went to a library of assets and perhaps where you got them from, the website was saying these are royalty free, and so you innocently get those beats and music and whatever, and then you suddenly realize at the end of it, when you publish it, it's not actually copyright free. I think that's another thing that you need to be really aware of, is trusting the source. Like just because you go into YouTube and there's a channel called Copyright Free Beats, is it actually copyright free? There's a bit of a gray area of an answer, unless you can really trust the source, or you can get, you can download permission or whatever. That can be really tricky as well.
There's a lot of
talks. Sorry, I was just going to say this happens to web designers and why am I thinking different kinds of graphic artists? Like, I don't know. My brain has stopped. But when you look at like web designers and web developers putting up websites for clients, and then the developer gets a DMCA takedown, and they're like, wait, those images were provided to me by the client. Well, the client might have just gone on Google and gotten them. So when I was doing a lot of consulting work, we were doing contracts around making sure that the works provided by the client, the underlying works, were their own copyrighted material, were their own original things. So they weren't just ripping stuff off of Google, giving it to a web developer, and the web developer was creating from there. So this goes levels and levels and levels down. And you even see it in speaker agreements, or you should when you go speak, that if a speaker on stage at somewhere like VidSummit is presenting, that their works are their own. They're not ripping off someone else's stuff.
This is something I'm a little worried that Savage is going to do to us at some point in the future. If someone appears on one of your videos doing something and then they later become big or very popular, can they request that you remove them at a later date if they were willing to be seen live at the time? I believe the question.
God, that's a great question.
You should have a likeness release or media release if you have people on your channel, on your podcast, or creating content with you. There should always be an agreement. I know that doesn't always happen. It can be an email. Emails can be agreement when it's back and forth. Hey, do you allow me to use this video, your likeness? But we see this among creators when they have falling outs all the time. It's like, oh, well, I did this interview on your channel, but I didn't know you were going to keep it up. I just thought it was a live interview and then it was going to be down. Those agreements need to be had and needs to be discussed. And people should be using likeness. Sometimes they're called likeness releases. Sometimes they're called media releases. I know it's like so picky to be the one creator who's like, yeah, can you just go ahead and do this release for me? But it's worth it.
So I was going to like this. This is actually an interesting question Rob brought up. So can you use NCS, which stands for no copyright sounds? I've never heard of this other one, or Nefix music because it says it's not copyrighted.
So this channel has 31 million subscribers to kick this off. So you kind of believe just from the size of it that there's some sort of trust and validity there. I'm just going to click on one of these videos, see if we can pick up what's in the description about this. Will it tell us? Will it help us in terms of copyright free here? So I guess there's nothing in here explicitly saying that you can use this on your own. And look, it's even detected there. So YouTube has automatically detected this content. So that to me would suggest that there's some possible copyright implications if you innocently use this track.
What's their usage policy? They have a usage policy. Will you click on that?
So the usage policy. Okay, so let's have a look here.
All we ask is that you credit the artist and songs used in the description of your video or live stream. NCS music is free for independent creators.
Well, what's an independent creator?
Right. Make sure you follow the guidelines. So it wants you to copy and paste that section that we were just looking at in your description.
The credit section. And you see that in other apps too, like InShot, where it asks for credit to be allowed to use different sounds. You get that in InShot Editor all the time. And at some point you kind of have to trust that what they're representing is true. I hate it when they say things like independent creator. What does that mean? I'm guessing that vidIQ's channel would not be an independent creator because it's connected to a company, but I have my own company that's connected to my channel. Does that make me an independent creator or not an independent creator? Because I feel like I'm working out here by myself sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Savage Industries is mainly a one-man operation.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie.
But what means independent? So this is
and
where the lawyer creates problems.
The fact that this appears in the description, presumably this artist knows that this track is being copyright matched. In the future, that could mean that they could apply monetization onto it. But I'm talking very much theory here. I have never really used NCS or anything. Perhaps for this unknown reason, when there's no money exchanging hands and it's all freebies, I just get nervous about whether I would ever use any of this type of stuff. But that's for everybody listening to this live stream to decide for themselves.
I'm distracted because I want to go watch that Colin and Samir video.
Where can I
get? The thumbnail was good.
Where can I get free copyright music? So meaning royalty-free music. I don't like YouTube Music Library. So you're looking to get
the chat.
Sorry?
The chat had some good suggestions, I think.
Okay, there you go. So someone suggested Stream Beats. I don't know their membership policy if it starts out free, and then I haven't looked into it enough. But I was going to suggest Stream Beats. I was going to suggest Epidemic Sound. But these are all services you do have to pay for. But the price you're paying, you need to consider as a business expense. At the end of the day, in my opinion, there probably are free options out there outside the music library on YouTube. But once you get to a point where you're investing in your channel, make the investment. It's a monthly fee. It's like everything else. It's like having a Netflix account. It's just another monthly fee on the pile.
There are some things in iMovie that are royalty free as well. I mean, you see them used everywhere, but also here's one thing to note with a lot of the royalty free music, if you're not paying a licensing agreement, that is not for commercial use. I think once you start monetizing your channel, that is a commercial use. So I think people can run into trouble going, oh, they say I can use it for free for individual use. Well, if your channel's making money, you're no longer individual use. That's now commercial use. So keep in mind when you're looking at these licensing agreements, the difference between individual use and commercial use. Individual use being a non-monetized presentation, things like that. Commercial use, I think once a channel is monetized, it counts.
It's why I like these other services that out there, because they clarify pretty easily. Like you'll be clear on whether or not you can monetize that content on your channel.
The one we read had I just pulled up the website, a very clear policy, what you can and what you cannot do. And it was very simple to use. So it's worth the money. Look, being a professional, we're professionals here, but being a content creator, there is some give and take on the investment into your into your channel, invest, and you choose what you invest in. I don't invest in music. I do invest in microphones, and my hair and my background, things like that. You choose what you invest in with your channel, and it is business expense. We have another video on that here on this channel when we talked about the business side of stuff.
Wearing costumes during your streams of characters, can you get slapped with copyright? Very interesting question.
That
So
is an
Halloween's
interesting
coming up.
question. I would think most of the time it would be transformative, but it would depend on what you're doing. But I think most of the time it would be transformative, particularly if you're going like live action with cartoon characters or video game characters and such. I think that you would probably be clear there. There was this, okay, so there was this one Halloween when I was still a DA, and a defense attorney came to court dressed as the devil, but she went like full like sexy Halloween devil. So like a bodysuit and like red fishnets and knee-high boots and a tail pinned to her butt and like makeup and a big red wig and little devil horns. And the judge was like, I can't let you go back into lockup dressed like that. What are you doing? This is a criminal courtroom. This is not a Halloween party in college. But it was still one of my favorite Halloweens in court. Most attorneys do not dress up to go to court on Halloween, just noted. There's always an exception though. Sorry. We tangented into DA stories. It was not one of my favorite defense attorneys. I have other stories about this woman, but that gave me amusement for months on end.
I will say, would you get somebody coming after you? Likely not, just because of the fact that you're probably helping to sell those costumes. I hope Emily's okay. So, but if you're really worried, you might just tweet at them, these companies that make this stuff.
Yeah, don't wear a Savage costume. I'm definitely suing you. That's 100% sure. I need to get that
define what a Savage costume is.
I mean, you see these glasses, right?
So, all right.
So you trademark, you copyright. You're good right now.
Glass glasses.
Your look.
All of this, you can see what's happening right here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm protecting.
You own the stonks thing behind you?
Well, look, I'm licensing it for fair use. It's fairly useful. This is how I'm doing it.
Got it.
That's how it works. I'm a supreme leader of the country called the People's Republic of North in my country. And I can use music and anything I want made by citizens without getting copyright claim. Well, that is great, because let me tell you something, North government. I saw somebody like you once. That dude was named Kim Jong Colonel Sanders. And he had a place called Kentucky Fried Chicken. He tried to do the same thing, except he also didn't pay taxes. No, wait, that was Wesley Snipes. Anyway, I remember going to KFC one time, and let me tell you, the bubble gut I got after that place, I can't go there very often. That actually reminds me, when I went to Safeway a long time ago, you have Safeway where you are, up to where you, I got what are those things called? The cheese, the cream puffs. You ever had a cream puff? Man, let me tell you about cream puff. I used to love cream puffs. I got like bubble gut for 24 hours, and I threw up. I didn't know that you could get that from food like that. I thought sugary snacks were okay. Sugary snacks. Remember sugar snacks? You remember sugar snacks? That was one of the worst type. You know what I love? I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I'll cut the inside of your mouth right up. You come out with bloody mouth, spitting back into your cereal. You got bloody cereal for Halloween. So if you want to get some bloody cereal for Halloween, get some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Don't put no milk in it, and then try to eat it. The inside of your mouth will hate you for it. Back to your originally scheduled whatever the heck.
I'm just going to say, in the U.S., being a sovereign citizen is not going to fly when it comes to getting around copyright laws.
Oh, yeah.
Or other laws.
Sovereign. I went and got Christian the other day. I'm sovereign.
Dan, once Savage starts, just let him go. It'll eventually stop.
Did you say it'll eventually stop?
Yeah.
Like me having water go down the wrong way. Eventually it'll end.
Yeah. Okay, where were we?
Can we do a poll real quick? Should I get a double quarter pounder with cheese or the garlic and bacon king? Can we get a
double cheeseburger? Hold the lettuce. Don't be front and sun. No seeds on the bun.
Remember the old one, the McDonald's thing they had, where they had the records they were doing, and if the record went all the way through the song, you won the money. Remember that? Man, I used to get that little record, put it on my grandmother's record player. I was like, oh, here we go. It was the whole McDonald's, like the Big Mac filet of fish or quarter pounder. It was like mumble rap, but back in the late 80s.
But back in the day.
Yeah, and what it was, in case you didn't know, is they had to get through the entire song, and if they did, you won like $1 million. But every single record you got, which is a little plastic thing, they would mess up. They'd be like quarter pounder, blah 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 blah. I'm like, mother, what in the heck? Why are you messing me up? Oh, get a Domino's.
Have any of you guys seen McMillions? It's a fantastic documentary
so
on the scam behind the McDonald's Monopoly Millions games. It's an incredibly done documentary, and I kind of live for the FBI agent that they interviewed in it.
Oh,
if you want to know what FBI agents are like, that dude's a pretty good.
Where is that? I'm gonna watch.
Maybe a little funnier.
I'll watch it.
I don't remember if it's Netflix or HBO.
I think it's HBO.
HBO.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that.
It's great. McMillions is fantastic.
Oh, question.
Yeah,
What about
question.
shorts? Can you get a copyright claim since when you edit your shorts on YouTube, you have the choice to add music to it? Great question.
So I would say that YouTube Shorts work in exactly the same way as normal content, in that if you edit your video completely off of a YouTube platform and upload it with copyrighted content, then you may get a claim. Yes, if you create the content through the Shorts player using YouTube's integrated tools for choosing music, then you won't get a copyright claim.
There you go.
It's the same reason you can use music on Instagram, Reels, on TikTok. It's because those platforms have agreements with the licensing agencies behind the music. So I think the music industry has realized that they're not going to be able to control everything as tightly, but that it is very good for a song, for a label, when something goes viral on a platform like TikTok. I mean, we've seen old ass songs going viral. You've seen Fleetwood Mac going viral, and that definitely has a direct impact on the bottom line. So I think that's why you get a lot of these licensing agreements, and that's all licensing agreements.
Oh my God. I've
Becky.
never seen something like this in my life. The big bacon cheddar cheeseburger double. Oh my God, I'm ordering that right now. Good. Googly-goo. Oh my God, Wendy's, you hurt my heart. I'm gonna have a heart attack in about an hour and a half. I hope y'all.
Great googly moogly. Savage is making everyone in the chat hungry.
Holy mother of pearl. All right, let's go.
I found a friend of Savage here in the chat. My friend recently made a meme that is not related to any music copyright, but somehow got copyrighted. It's a meme of SpongeBob SquarePants with just fart noises. So a couple things that could happen.
Copyrighted.
The character's copyrighted. And funny enough, maybe the fart noises are also copyrighted, unless it was them.
Probably copyrighted as well.
Yes.
I have not found the licensing agreement behind the Tesla that dances. So there is a Christmas kind of hack within the Tesla Model X where it has a Christmas dance, and the music that the car plays is Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And I am so curious how the licensing behind that worked to allow Tesla to use it, or whether they were just, it's better to ask forgiveness and we think Trans-Siberian Orchestra will be stoked. I don't know how that worked, but I would love to have been in on those conversations because it's cheeky and it's music, and Trans-Siberian Orchestra is actually playing live here in Nashville in December. I'm very excited. Anyway.
Got a couple of comments for you here, Savage. Susan's just had a salad.
Boring.
Oh, nice. All right, Susan. Keeping it I'm keeping it team
Keeping it 100.
Hero Brian 15 is suggesting Mr. Beast Burger. Have you tried one of them yet?
I haven't tried it.
Hero Brian, Mr. Beast was at Vid Summit.
Yeah.
And we ate Subway for 2 days.
I know.
There was no Mr. Beast Burger. There was no Mr. Beast Burger food truck. There was Subway. So I might have to boycott.
Subway or Mr. Beast Burger?
What's a biryani?
I'm boycotting Mr. Beast Burger for not coming to Vid Summit. Like, it feels like a missed opportunity.
It was.
Yep.
What is a biryani?
Biryani. It's an Indian dish.
Oh, that's cool.
And salad with prawns.
That was the thing underneath your esophagus. Salad with prawns.
Sounds good.
Right. Puts prawns.
I like that there's a poll for Savage's lunch.
Well, that's what made me go with Wendy's. And now they got some
tight
stuff
as well. Blimey, this is a tight one. That's
why is it asking me when my birthday is? I just want to order a darn sandwich. Why are they asking me this? Why do I got to put this in? Ask
you got to protect your personal info. You can't just
what my blood type is. And what my birthday is.
Do you get an option where you're ordering it and you say this meal is not made for kids?
Well, I should have, huh? Because I'm like, I just want this cheese with the burger and the other things. It's like, When's your birthday? Well, what?
We've got more gaming questions. Here's the thing: games
Okay.
are copyrighted. You're
Yep.
not always going to get to use it. And again, copyright claims will tell you what you can and cannot use, and will tell you the options to fix it. You can still have your videos up most of the time. It just means they can't necessarily be monetized. YouTube is trying to incentivize original content on the platform that is highly watchable, that keeps people on the platform for longer, and it will reward the creators of that by helping the audience find their content and say, oh, lots of these people watch this content for a very long time. We like that. Let's find more people like these people and show them this content, and they'll probably watch it too. So I think understanding a little how YouTube works, we're not trying to game the copyright system. We're trying to understand how copyright works so we can be better content creators to make content that the algorithm will say, oh, I have the perfect audience for you. Or say to the audience, oh, I have the perfect video for you. I think that you'll really like it. Because YouTube is looking for stuff that's unique and novel to entertain the viewers on the platform. And it's really viewer experience first, content creator experience second.
Dan,
If that makes sense.
I'm calling it. Round
This is
two.
Defend the indefensible, round 2. So it looked like Emily won last time, which no one was surprised.
Yeah, landslide as usual. 40%, I think.
I got
I
last
don't
place,
think
even though I got into character. Which
Savage
was
was
kind of upsetting.
second.
Yeah, of course I did. Listen, to be honest, let's be honest about this. Everyone knows I won. They just didn't want to. They love Emily. Listen, Emily's great. She's fine. She got purple hair. I like that. But I mean, come on, everybody. Come on, man. Come on. Give a brother a break. All right, let's do this again.
I think, Dan, we'd have a better chance if Daniel put the poll up now before we actually do the game.
Oh,
No.
they're just going to vote for
Who
Emily
won?
now. They're going to vote early.
Who won the pre-show? Okay, Dan, Emily, Savage, and myself must vigorously support a theme for 30 seconds that is either distasteful, politically incorrect, plainly wrong, self-derisory, or entirely contrary to the creator's known opinions.
I have one for Emily. If we're
All right, then.
All
So
right,
have you,
go first
are you
all
ready
the time.
let's get it going, Dan.
Let me get my we're gonna do it in my footnote voice today. Go ahead.
Oh, I know.
All right.
Rob. Let me do Rob.
all right.
Right, you can do me afterwards,
Yeah,
Savage.
okay,
Sure.
okay.
All right, here we go.
That's what he
Somebody
said.
clip it. Somebody clip
That's what
it.
he said. ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody clip it.
Doobity doo.
All right, Emily, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Work smarter, not harder, by taking on both Coke and Pepsi simultaneously as sponsors.
Obviously, you should take all the sponsors in the world because it is about making money. Being a creator is about nothing other than getting that bag. There's no reason to have integrity when taking your sponsorships. You should just treat your audience as if they are your own personal ATM machine and sell them whatever shit you feel like based on whoever pays you the most money, because that is really the game of internet marketing. Buy my merch, buy my merch, buy my merch, buy my merch.
I feel like that was just good advice. I don't understand what the controversy is. I already do this. What is the problem?
Oh, dear. Right, can I do Dan?
Also, Pepsi sucks.
Oh
Just
my gosh.
so we're clear.
That is controversial.
That's the
for blowing
first
that
defending
for us.
defensible comment.
I walk into an establishment, Taco Bell, and they're like, no, we're Pepsi only. I'm like, why? I'm never coming back.
Oh, you've been
Ever.
canceled. Damn.
Canceled.
Oh,
I hate Pepsi.
Now we can't get Taco Bell or Pepsi on board with vidIQ, so thank you for that.
Man.
You're welcome. You're not monetized. You're an education channel.
All right, then. Dan, so this is yours. It is so long that I've had to edit it because we only have 200 characters.
As long as it
in
covers
the,
all of you, I'm good.
Right. Okay. So this is your indefensible, and it looks a little bit like this. If you are a gaming channel and you are watching the stream, you will never make any money from it. I know. I run multiple gaming channels and have lifetime earnings of $759.33. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be me.
Yeah, well, if you're wasting time watching the stream and not making content, first of all, how are you supposed to make any money at all? You're here. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're watching us talk about silly games and burgers all the time. So that's the first problem. The second problem is that like $759.33 isn't going to buy me that many things, Big Macs, etc. And if that's what I can do, think about how much you can achieve, which is less. So, chew on that.
That's
a good point.
You on that was fantastic.
a second and a half, and you just delivered the end.
That's actually not a bad point there.
Oh dear. All right, that was mine. Well done, Dan. Very good. Who's next? So we have Emily and Savage, who still have.
All right, so I'm gonna do this one for Rob. Dan, you need to look in the chat because I don't know the name of this thing. Okay, it's for Rob. So I'm gonna say blank
for Savage.
And I think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't. But
let's
see.
Look, whatever blank is, I can't remember which one blank is. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yep.
All right, cool. There you go.
I got you. All right.
All right, we got you, Rob. You're gonna love this one.
All right, here we go.
Sure. Give it to me.
All right, 1 second. All right, ready, Rob?
Yes. No.
No? All right, here we go.
So, okay, Breath of the Wild. I agree that I played on this game for 20 hours plus, and I really enjoyed ambling around a desolate countryside with not that many enemies around, then suddenly hitting things that would kill me in one swipe. So the learning curve was ridiculous, but I really enjoy games like that. You know what Breath of the Wild is like? It is like Dark Souls. And I'm sure everybody else can agree that that is also a fantastic video game to play. Thank you very much.
How is this a question? Breath of the Wild is awesome.
He doesn't like Breath of the Wild.
He hates it.
I would say the Link. So the remake they did of what was it? Link's Awakening.
Yes.
That they did on the Switch. That is infinitely better than Breath of the Wild. I maintain that the moment Zelda went 3D, it's gone down the toilet. So for the last 20 years, apart from Wind Waker, that was a really
3D,
good Zelda.
The one you just said.
Sorry?
It's a 3D remake.
Which it wasn't. It was still top down.
Yeah, it was 3D,
that was hardly. It was remade in 3D graphics, but it was still a 2D game essentially.
I think it was the same exact experience as.
You will never beat Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on the Super NES. I rest my case.
Travis, you have to get out of the private. You have to click off the private chat.
Yeah, I'm not looking at private. Trust me.
I'm Savage. We're gonna.
I'm not looking.
You're gonna.
All right. So do I need to copy this one in then? Is this my private chat one? It's not there yet, Emily.
I'm writing it.
All right. Sorry.
Give her time, man. So you got to make sure it's legally right. It's spelled correctly.
Everything has to go through an extra check.
Accuracy, yeah. Got to get checked. Got to make sure it's 509.2 approved.
Okay.
Everything is 2D. That's not what I said.
I have this one ready to go for Savage, or maybe Savage's alter ego. Perhaps.
Savage's alter ego, perhaps.
All right, so Savage / the other person defend the following. The only way to be a successful tech YouTuber is to spend $10,000 a month on tech.
Well, that's true. I don't even understand. There's no controversy here at all. All you got to do is look at all the. As a matter of fact, I have a good friend. His name's Greg from Greg Gadgets. He has a really good, successful channel. And when Apple season comes, he buys everything, like the Macs and the iPads and the iPhones. And man, let me tell you something. I ain't got no $10,000 spent every 10 minutes. These people, it is. You buy your batteries, you buy your tech, and you buy your crowd, and you buy your success, and you buy your love. Savage Academy, $39.95 every 5 minutes, and you can have it too.
Sorry, guys, I'm voting for Savage.
I'm still giving this to Dan for chew on that. I think that's the best. That's the best line ever. I think
that was a pretty good line by Dan. He doesn't normally say stuff like that. That was good.
Are we done? Is it time for lunch?
I mean,
no one's on the way.
Savage made me
winning.
hungry.
I'm winning. I can't believe it.
We got to see the results of the poll, and I like seeing Emily's name lose votes. This is my favorite thing to watch.
Yeah, well, I can put. Shall I put this live? Shall we get a live?
Put it up. Let's see this go. That never makes anything.
Hang on.
Why do I have the least amount of votes?
Damn, what?
I think I upset a lot of gaming channels today.
How are you going to be surprised by this? You know you were picked last for everything back in school.
How can I make this easier? Is that going to make? No, it's just made it worse.
Could you pop out the chat?
There we go.
Then you have to capture.
Look at that.
Oh, that's now accurate. We're in Inception. We're in like stream Inception.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Didn't realize that.
Yeah. See, thank you everybody for really supporting someone who really you should be supporting, which is me.
Professionals, people.
And you're all welcome for me being here today. I really appreciate that you appreciate.
I mean, we've been graced with your presence, and you've made us all hungry. So I think it's a win all the way around.
Is my present.
Not even half the folks here voted yet, though.
So yeah,
there's only 52 votes. People.
Stop the vote. Stop the vote. Stop the vote.
I'm taking comfort in the fact that I'm last, so it means that everybody disagreed with my defending indefensible and agree that Breath of the Wild is rubbish.
Pretty much.
Breath of the Wild's amazing. Pepsi is rubbish.
Oh my gosh. I like Mountain Dew. Does that count?
I have offended half the chat. I expect my subscriber numbers to go down. They're like, this woman showed up in purple hair. She says she's a lawyer. She likes cotton, candy corn, and hates Pepsi.
That's a lot to take in at one time.
It's a lot for a day.
It is a lot. It's something you got to sit down and think about for a little bit.
You got to be yourself as a creator.
You can leave this poll running for the next hour to see who wins, but I'm out of here. See ya.
My gosh.
All right.
Canceled.
That was weird. I guess we'll just drop this.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us today. It looks like Savage is the winner of Defending.
Thank you. Finally.
Someone has dethroned Emily finally. So
finally.
I'll take comfort in that.
Appropriate is what I would say.
I think so. So thank you everybody. I think what we'll do now is we're going to put up this screen here that we can still talk over. And thank you all for coming out. Be sure to, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Especially like. We got a lot of likes today, actually.
We did.
You're good. You don't have to like anymore.
Do the YouTube things, everybody.
And then click and share.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.